Hey everyone, it's Carly here from CarlyIsSleepy. Today I'm going to show you how to make some breakcore stuff, as you can probably tell by the visuals here. I'm going to show you through one of my breakcore project files, and yeah, let's hop into the studio. Okay, so for the melodies stuff, it's quite simple. Normally what you want to do is find some kind of sad sounding samples. Let me just reset it back to how it would sound. So you'd have that, you stretched it, pitched it down a bit. You know, add like delay, some EQ to give it that kind of washed out, kind of emotional feeling. There's this sample pack here you can find, which has a whole bunch of it's called a Jungle 1989 to 1999 sample pack. There's just a bunch of like cool stuff in here. That have the like kind of really cool old vintage feeling. Also, it's kind of important to make the song kind of, I guess, personal to you. So I have this sample here for one of my really old songs. I don't think it's even on the internet anymore. But it's pitched down a whole bunch. I mean, stretched a whole bunch. So basically pitched down because it's on resample mode. And just kind of chucked in the background. Got this this like choir sample. What I find sounds really cool is if you do occasional chops, not just in like the breaks, because obviously you gotta chop your breaks, but if you chop the melodies here, normally repeating the end of a bar works quite well, kind of a more intense part. Make sure you have it on bleeding mode. So it fades in, unless you want like a clicky sound like I wanted here, because what this does is it makes a small fade in that you can control the amount of fading in it does, whereas here it'll just click in and the waveform will be cut off, so it'll make like a clicky sound, which isn't always wanted. White noise is always just, you always use white noise in like every song. You know, just kind of in the background. A good texturing trick I kind of taught myself is if you copy and paste the same melody, if you pitch something up an octave, stretch it so it's half as long, it kind of gives a really cool layer, especially if you cut a whole bunch of the sample out and delay it. So that would layer of that. So you move further and further away from just using a sample, and you edit it a whole bunch. Let's look at some of these drop synths right here. We have this one, which is consolidated from I think it's a Serum patch. At the time when I made this song, I didn't have Serum, so it sounds like that. I have multiple versions of it, I think. Just a whole bunch of layers of them. Alright, so next we're going to look at these the drums here. For the intro breaks, you kind of want some kind of pitch down, atmospheric kind of break. Less chop, so it's more straightforward and kind of in the background. But there's no real rules here. You can just do whatever you think sounds cool. Layering your breaks normally adds a really cool effect. We got this one. Kind of pitch down. Just to give it a more full sound right here. And for the drop ones, the processing on these is normally some kind of distortion that you can, I normally automate my distortion. And you can obviously add like a limiter to compress everything together. Waveshaper, I don't see enough people using this plugin. It basically, this is a limiter at the top, and then that's a distortion there, so it makes it really nice and saturated and full. Just basic EQ, some small amount of reverb, and cut the bass. It's always important to like layer a kick drum on top. So, you know, you can define your groove. Because when you use a lot of these break samples, usually they don't have like a good kick sound because they're all from like mostly they're from old samples and vinyls. So the recording isn't that too great. But if you layer like a EDM kick, like here I've got a virtual right one, it normally just kind of adds to the punch. It makes it more punchy. You know what I mean. All right, let's move on to the bass. All right, the bass here is quite simple. You find the note of the what key the song is in. Flex, if you use FL Studio, is a really cool thing for these 808s. There's this one, you kind of mess around with it. It's kind of like an 808, but it's kind of like a sustained bass. It's this one. I messed around with some of the parameters. It sounds like the effects are pretty simple. It's just distortion. Wave shaper. The mixing here isn't too important in Breakcore. It's mostly you just do it by ear and what you think sounds cool. I also have this like scream sample layered on top that my friend made. Sounds pretty sick. Obviously you want to sidechain the bass. Or something like that. Pretty cool. Your bass shouldn't be too complicated. Just a couple notes should be fine. It's mostly on the rhythm of it. Let's move on to the samples next. A huge part of Breakcore is using samples. So in this song, I have this interview from, I think it's from 19 something. It's old as hell. But it's some guy interviewing this woman with schizophrenia.
Sometimes you hear voices talking to you.
Just add some delay. Yeah, some this reverb. I don't see enough people talking about this reverb. But if you use the blur white function and you just turn down the white a bit, it adds this. If I play it,
sometimes
you hear like right at the end, it's really quiet. There's this kind of really ambient kind of high white noise that is just really good at filling out the mix. But yeah, small samples really make a song kind of come together. Stuff like that. Right here is my favorite one. I think I've used this in like 1 or 2 songs. Have that, pitch them down, make them sound really weird. Got all that. Got a lot of dark samples. Basically, you're making dark ambient music with drums. All right, now you've got all your elements put together. I'm just gonna play you a section of the song right here.
Can't see the people. You don't have an office?
Yes, but I don't think I have been really afraid of anybody talking.
Can you hear them now?
Since I was a young girl. And I could talk without them.
You can talk without whom?
I tried to pay attention to what they said.
Alright, hope you enjoyed that preview there. The full song will be in the link in the description. You can subscribe for more videos like this in the future. I also do original music on like Spotify, whatever. I've got like a donate link in the description if you're into that. But yeah, see you guys next time. Peace.